Greetings and welcome, friends. We're reviewing for our first test, Chapter 1 test of algebra. It's amazing. I'm pumped. Here we are. And, I like this problem so much. If you can do this problem, you are likely able to do question 2 on today's test. Yes. So let's see. It says, solve the equation, justify each step. Now, the operation in play is that my variable is being divided by 5. So what is the inverse operation of division? Multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. And I also noticed that there's a negative there. So better yet, I could multiply both sides by -5 in order to get rid of that negative, to simultaneously swipe, swipe. So notice that. Good move. Combo move right there. So I get n is equal to -5 times -2 is +10. They asked to justify my step. The reason I was able to do that was the multiplication property of equality. There's my abbreviation of it. And then they asked me to check my solution. I don't often do the checks, but we'll do a quick check here. That means I'm going to plug this into the original problem. So I'll have the opposite of 10 divided by 5. Is that, when I'm doing a check, that's what I'm asking, is this equal to -2? And so I'll have 10 divided by 5 is 2, -2 equals -2. Check it. It works. I like it. I like it. So my answer is n equals 10. So that was a one-step problem. Let's look at a little bit trickier of a problem, a multi-step. And there are multiple ways that you can do this problem. So as long as you're obeying the laws of math, you'll be good. So in order to solve this, I'm going to use the general approach that I showed you guys, but you might have some of your own tricks, and that's fine. So I'm going to distribute first. So I'm going to simplify every side. This time it's only one side. Every side I can, though. -4 times 2z is -8z. -4 times 6 is -24. -12 equals 4. So I distributed. That minus sign goes with it to both of the things in the parentheses. What could I do next to simplify, guys? Yeah, I can still simplify, and I can do that by combining like terms. Like terms are either all constants, or they all have the same variable and exponent. So that's the idea there. So I'm going to have -8z. That's going to become -36 equals 4. And now that I've simplified everything, now I'm going to start using inverse operations. I've got two things happening to the variable. It's being multiplied and it's being subtracted. According to SADMAP, I'm going to deal with the subtraction before I deal with the multiplication. So what's the inverse of subtracting 36? That's right, that's right. Represent. Add them, both sides. And make sure when you guys add to both sides, you realize that you are adding to both sides of the equal sign. Sometimes I've seen students do like this or something like that, and that ain't how it works. But we'll try to avoid some of the common mistakes today. And then how do I inverse here? Let's see. This is the wrong way. Can someone explain why that's wrong? What's the operation between this -8 and z? Well, it's being multiplied, and the way I would deal with it is divide. I think is what you guys were saying, right? So I'm dividing both sides by -8. Amity, don't do that. Devin, turn around. Amity, you can stop talking. Thank you. Z equals -5 is what I end up getting. I won't take the time to do the check because I want to move on and make sure we get plenty of these examples in here. So, question 11. This one's a little trickier. They gave us a fact. They said that the sum of the angle measures is 540 degrees. So I'm going to write this equation. I'm going to say, looks like I've got some angles that are x, I've got some that are x minus 30, and I'm just going to add them all up. So I'm going to say x plus, well, actually, how about this? How many x minus 30s do I have? 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to write that as plus 3 times x minus 30. I also could have just written x minus 30 plus x minus 30 plus x minus 30, and that would work. Question, comment? Yeah? I didn't hear the question, sorry. That's if they were being multiplied, but since these are being added, I would write it as a 3 times that. But yeah, if it was x minus 30 times x minus 30 times, and then that's a very good point. That would have been x minus 30 all to the third. All right, so let's simplify and solve this, because I think they wanted us to find the measures, the angle measure. So I would distribute this. Let's see, even if this problem's a little confusing to you, just keep tracking with me, and hopefully you'll at least be catching the portions, the steps between steps sort of thing. I could combine like terms. I've got 1x plus 1x plus 3 x's. How many x's are there? 3 plus 1 is 5 x's. Yeah, there are 3x terms, though. You're right. Equals 540. And now I can solve normal. We'll add 90 to both sides. I might start reaching for a calculator here. We'll see. Maybe not. I might be able to get away with it. So 5x, Devin, is equal to 540 plus 90. What's that, 630? Yeah. And now how do I get rid of multiply by 5? Divide. Yeah, that's the classic. Divide by 5. And now notice how I do this division. 10 would have gone into 630 63 times, right? And 5 is going to fit in twice as much. So double 63, I get 126. You could have used a calculator on that. That's just fine. But that's what I got. So, all right, let's keep going. Keep going, Mr. Wadi. El más rápido del mundo. All right. Absolute value, friends. And remember, these absolute value bars mean that you're going to give me a break me off a piece of that absolute value bar, because that's the way we have to solve. Normally, absolute values equations are going to have as many as 2 solutions. And before I break it up, I've got to move this 9 and negative 2. I'm gonna subtract 9 first from both sides. So I'm gonna get the absolute value by itself. I'm almost pretending as though this is a variable, if you want to think about it in that way. Let's see, equals negative 16. How do I get rid of multiplying by negative 2? Divide. And this would have, we can't distribute over absolute value. So the only way to deal with this is to divide by negative 2, both sides. And notice in doing so, swipe. Now I've got the abs val by itself. And negative divided by negative is positive, which is good news, because you guys all know that an absolute value can never equal a negative. Although if it did, then we would have been done. Because we would have just said no solution. All right, but now it's time to give me a break. Break me off a piece of that absolute value bar. Here we go. 5w minus 7 equals 8. Or 5w minus 7 equals negative 8. Right, one or the t'other. All right, let's solve these. Notice same step for both of these. We've been solving 2-step equations all day today. Here we go. I'll just cruise through this so you guys can just see the big picture here. 5 dubs equals negative 1. That's a sad-looking W for someone whose last name starts with W. Divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5. I get W equals 3. Or W equals negative 1/5. Right, so 2 solutions happening here. because this one didn't have a variable on the right-hand side before I broke it up, I'm not worried about extraneous solutions. It would be rarer for that to happen. I can't recall of it ever happening, but I don't want to make a guarantee because I haven't done the experimentation. But be careful. Sometimes absolute value equations can have extraneous or extra solutions, and one of these or both of these might not work. All right, so you'll have to do a check afterwards to verify that they work. All right, last problem. Whew. We got a lot of stuff on this test today, but at least we're taking the time to go over it. I think maybe. I think there might be a word problem. But calculators are okay, so. But we can use the scientific ones today. Question, comment? Oh, paper. That's a good question. Yeah, I realize you guys haven't even seen my tests yet. That's right. All right, so I want to solve this equation for y. That means I'm pretending, using my imagination, like SpongeBob would, I'm pretending that x is just a number, right? So Jimmy, I've got this 5 here that's a positive 5, and this 4 being multiplied by the y. I'm going to move that 5 first, and I'm going to do it by subtracting it from both sides. What term, Jimmy, should I write this minus 5 under? Which one should I write it under? Yeah, the 3, because it's a like term with that 3. Seems like that makes sense. Combine it with that one right out the get-go. So I've got 8x minus 8 equals, those 5's canceled out, 4y. Now, let's see, Devin, you're the man when it comes to this. How do I get rid of this 4? Bam! He's got it! Wow! Man, I want to this is like I was going in and I was in the key, but then I pass it back to the 3-point line and Devin was there and swoosh! 3 points! He's got it with the division. Sorry, I just got a little excited there about the algebra. And I got to divide everybody by 4. So 8 divided by 4 is 2, but there's still an x there. Negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2 equals, those 4's canceled out, but it's just y. And let's flip it around, right? Actually, I think my friend Ethan even writes little arrows like this when he does a flipperoo. That's called the symmetric property of equality, by the way. But there you go. So thank you for watching. Mis amigos. Adios.